All right, let's begin. So first, could you tell me your full name, please?
Yes, my name is Benjamin Jimin Ha.
And could you tell me, are you working or are you a student?
I'm currently neither working nor studying because I'm taking a gap year from college. So I'm mostly doing volunteer works. Yeah.
And what do you like to do when you have some free time?
I mostly like to rock climb because I started rock climbing like 5 years ago, and it's one of my biggest passions. I also enjoy studying philosophy by looking at open course lectures online.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about technology. So what kind of technology do you often use? Computers or mobile phones?
I'll say I use my mobile phones more often than my computer. Yeah, I take it everywhere I go. I even brought it today here. Yeah.
And are there any technological devices you would like to buy in the future?
Yeah, I would definitely want to get an iPad because I actually used to have an iPad and up until last year, but I accidentally spilled coffee all over it. So I would love to get a new iPad.
And is technology important in your life?
Yes, definitely. I find myself using Google Docs every time I write essays, and I use different apps, and even when I play games, technology is really important and necessary.
Is there any technology that you do not like?
I say I am not really a fan of radios. Yeah, because I mean they were necessary back when computers weren't a thing, but nowadays since computers can pretty much substitute radios, I don't think radios are necessary, but we still have it in our house. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now we're going to talk about social media. So do you or your friends like to use social media?
Yeah, definitely. I have Snapchat, Instagram, all sorts of social media applications. Yeah.
And why do you like using these applications?
I say social media is pretty much a new means of communicating between people. So I find myself using the social media chat functions more than calling people or messaging them. And also sharing photos and looking at other people's reactions. I mean, some people may call it unhealthy, but I think it became a new norm, especially among teenagers.
And do you think any of your friends use social media too much?
I um I guess so because I find some people, if you look at the screen time function on your iPhone, you can see how many hours you've spent on your phone. And some people spend like more than 10 hours a day, and I feel like that is really unhealthy. Yeah.
And do you want to work in social media in the future?
I am interested in technology like software engineering and computer science. So yeah, why not give it a try?
Okay. And what's the most popular social media in your country?
Oh, in Korea, definitely Kakao Talk. Yeah, because Kakao Talk, I mean, recently there was a data center crisis, a data center accident, and everyone was suffering. So that shows how important Kakao Talk is in our daily lives.
And is there any difference between the way young people use social media and older people use social media?
The type of social media applications that people use definitely vary from age to age. Because I find older people using Facebook more often, while younger generation use Snapchat and Instagram.
Yes. Okay, that'll do us for part one. We'll go on to part two now. All right, here is your question. There's a pencil. So you can have 1 minute now to do some note taking and prepare. Okay, so yeah, you can begin. Okay, that's 1 minute now, mate. All right, so could you describe a time when you received money as a gift?
Yes, so I feel like in Asian countries, giving money as a gift, especially on special holidays like Chuseok or Seonal, is definitely a tradition. I'm not sure on how it started, but I myself received money on holidays when I was young. So yeah, when we receive money, especially in Korea, I feel like it's a custom to reject it at first, say, no, I don't want it, but then your hand just goes forward and gets it. So, and then you say thank you afterwards. I receive money, like I said, on Chuseok, Seollal, or whenever I entered a new school. So when I went from elementary school to middle school, to high school, and to college. And the people that gave me money were usually my extended family. So not my direct parents, or my brother won't give me money for sure, but my grandparents, maybe my aunt, my uncle, and those people were the ones that gave me money. And the reason why they gave me money was, I mean, it's just to celebrate a new step in my life, I guess. And I used the money when I was young mostly by buying Lego pieces or buying snacks at the local grocery store. But nowadays, I choose to save some money so that I can buy something big later on, like a car or maybe a new computer.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll go on to part 3 of the test. Okay. So yeah, why do people rarely use cash nowadays?
Cash is just very inconvenient to bring around. So I personally use a card wallet instead of a big cash wallet because it's more convenient to put in your pocket. And sometimes cash, paper money, rips apart, and it's really difficult to use it when it rips apart. And also using coins is not really convenient. So I think that's why cards and other means of payment are more often used than cash nowadays.
And why do you say coins are inconvenient to use?
Just on a cost, the face value and weight aspect, right? Like a penny is just 1 cent, it's a hundredth of a dollar, but it probably weighs more than a dollar. So that just shows how inefficient it is.
Indeed. And are there any situations when people need to use cash?
I think, yes, sometimes. So it's not really like an official thing. But when you go to traditional markets in Korea, they rarely accept card, so you have to pay in cash. And sometimes when they give you a discount, like maybe on clothes or maybe on some kind of fancy luxury goods, they give you a discount when you pay in cash. So that's when you use cash.
Right. And when do children begin to comprehend the value of money?
Ooh, that's a big question. Because I once saw this video of this Chinese children. They received a lot of Chinese yuan as a gift, but then they ended up using scissors to cut off the people, and they found it really hilarious. And because maybe as children, they might find it more enjoyable to cut off paper money rather than actually use it. So I guess the time when children really start to comprehend the idea of money and the value of it is at least when they go to elementary school, when they start receiving some professional education, and then or when their parents start spending money on their education, like on hagwons. I think that's when they really start to comprehend.
And do you think it's parents' responsibility to teach children about the value of money, or should children learn by themselves?
I believe that when you're young, your brains haven't really developed fully, so it's your parents' responsibility. That's the reason why they're called guardians, right? They have full responsibility over their children, and they have the responsibility to, among other things, tell their children to comprehend the idea of money. But after you reach a certain age, say like again elementary school, then I guess it's the children's responsibility. Yeah.
And do you think it's a good idea for parents to reward children with money?
I guess it's the most efficient way because they don't really have to go through the process of thinking, oh, what would the children like? How would the children use it? Because money can literally buy anything. But what I find among a lot of my, not really my friends, but people in my previous school or other people I see in my community, is that when they start receiving money, especially huge sums of money, starting young age, then they really don't know how to use it effectively. So they would end up just splurging it on a computer, on a Nintendo Switch, and they really don't know how to use money efficiently, and they may lead to their inability to have purchasing ethics when they grow up.
Right. And do you think it's a good idea for schools to teach their students about managing their finances?
Yes, definitely. Because one of the biggest problems, especially with American community, I mean Korean community too, is when you graduate high school, you know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. You know how to do calculus, but you don't know how to pay taxes. So that's definitely a problem. And yeah, high school definitely has to teach how to pay tax and how to use money, how to save money properly.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Right, let's start with some feedback. So really good test. I would estimate score to be 8.5, around that. Some small errors I'll just point out to you, okay? Small errors. One was I do volunteer works. It should be singular, volunteer work or volunteer activities, right? We could say this. I would definitely want to get an iPad. So I would just delete the modal verb here. So I would definitely change that to I definitely want to. Yeah, I definitely want to get an iPad. And just in part one, right? So answers were great, really clear. Just make sure you explain reasons why. Okay. So sometimes I ask you, do you like using social media or whatever? Just make sure, explain with clear reasons why you like it. One time you said, why not give it a try? It's a good expression, nice expression, but I think I would explain reasons why it would be fun to do this. I think the question was like, do you want to work in social media in the future? So maybe you could explain, yeah, I like using it. I like communicating with other people. Maybe something like that, all right? The part two question, right? Just the question was describe a time when you received money as a gift. So focus on more like one time, right? So in the real exam, they want you to specifically describe one situation. I think you were floating between like some present tense, some past tense. So we want to make it more specific in part two, right? Yeah, part three, there wasn't really much. It was all answered really well in part three, actually. You said coins and cash, they're inconvenient to bring around. I would say carry around is a better expression, carry around. And when you talked about the kids in China, they're cutting, you said they cut off the people. I think the better phrasal verb there is cut out. So they cut out the people. Right. Yeah. I saw that too, actually. Yeah. All right. So yeah, really good test. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Cheers.